I want to start by thanking the Almighty God for allowing me get this far. I've had a lot of people say that age is just a number. Anybody who says that should subject himself to psychiatric evaluation. I mean every word of what I've just told you, because as you age, you feel it within yourself, but you try as much as possible not to allow it wear you down. You know, you are assailed by all types of medical challenges, but you just have to keep keeping on, because no man lives forever. So we are trudging on, and I'm happy that my faculties are still complete. So most of my colleagues who started with me are no longer there, and may their souls rest in peace. Once more, I thank the Almighty God. There are so many other people who have contributed to peace in this country. I want to remember all of them. You see, there was a time the captain of the Green Eagles, he was ill, yes, Christian Chukwu, and Engineer Otedola sent $50,000 to enable people fly him overseas for treatment. I want to seize this opportunity to thank Chief Otedola. I sincerely wish that other Nigerians will emulate him. Let me also thank the Chief Executive of Peace Airlines, who flew to South Africa when xenophobia was almost eliminating all Nigerians there. He undertook to go there and fly the Nigerians home, the beleaguered Nigerians. Onyema, Yisike, Odobukebo, and I thank you. Ahmed Musa. Ahmed Musa is a young man. He's a footballer. There was something he did at a time that I'm not ever likely to forget. You see, Ahmed is a very honorable human being. He was asked to take up the captaincy of the Green Eagles. He said no. Give it to Mikel Obi. He's my senior. There are very few Nigerians who can do that. Very few. And that shows honor and good upbringing. Musa, Kanu. Imuhadu, I will greet you properly. All right. Yes, according to our culture, if a child is born in any family, you don't try to contest the paternity of that child. It's already arrived. But you see, these days, because of distrust, particularly where the women are, a lot of men now prefer to go for DNA test to ascertain whether the child born in the family belongs to him. And it is beginning to give rise to a lot of controversy. Do I support it? Yes, I do. Why do I support it? Because sometimes if a character begins to behave in a manner that is strictly out of consonance with what happens in the family, you begin to ask, where is this character from? Where is this blood from? You see, there's a practice in Igbo land which originated from the Jews. It's called the Levirate system. That is where a man dies and his brother is encouraged to take over the wife. You know, I don't know whether it still goes on now. You see, women are educated now and they don't want all those things to hang on them. According to the women now, they are entitled to fall in love and get married. But you see, now the reason why that system obtained, whenever a child begins to behave in a manner that is not quite normal, there is suspicion about how he was born. In order to ensure that it's the same blood, what we call consanguinity, the same blood that still runs in the family, you ask the brother to take the wife over. And it's a very good system. It's the Jews actually who started this thing, and we inherited it from them. We acquired it from them. I know that we have some link, which a lot of people are contested, but I'm not going into that. But we are Jews. I know that one. So I think I'm in support of that. You see, because that's one way we can guarantee that the kids we are raising actually belong to us. If we decide that we are going to let our culture stay, so that we don't proceed to establish whether the paternity is ours or not, a lot of things will go wrong. So the women don't like it, because it gets their infidelity into the open. But I believe it's good. So that if you are saying that this son is mine, then the son is yours. You don't raise another man's child, and when he begins to misbehave, people will look at you and say, what kind of character? This is not in our character. So I endorse it completely. Go for a DNA test if you feel that the child is not yours. And if DNA proves that the child is not yours, well, the mother has all the explanation to do. So I think there's nothing wrong with that, in my own opinion. As a matter of fact, if it is established that that child does not belong to the family, the mother should go with the child. Yeah, because it's an established case of infidelity. Not even the Bible condones that. So that's it, You see, advancement in all forms of technology sometimes can be quite harmful, but that's what it should be, We'll try as much as possible to contain our extramarital temptations, but where we cannot, we get into trouble. And when we do, we think we can get away with it. No. If you're culpable, you get tracked in the process. DNA catches you. There's nothing you can do. You have to go. You see, the man's place is not the same as the woman's place. I hear that Solomon had 700 wives, 300 concubines, or 300 wives, 700 concubines. I don't know what it is, what number now, but one thing is certain. Anybody who is a man, I think, can take as any number of wives you want if you can cope with them. The Muslims take 4, I know. In our own case as Christians, if you're looking for a person to succeed you, a man, I guess you can take as many wives as you can until you catch a boy along the line. I don't know. So if a man has a child outside, ultimately that child comes back to the family. Yeah, because he must bear the name of his father. That's what it is. He doesn't have to answer the name of his mother. No. You see, it does not. You see, overseas, the women are contesting headship of their families with the men. The women believe that whatever the man does, the woman can also do. So you find women going into boxing, which I think is very unbecoming and unhealthy for women. Women going into wrestling and all that, whatever it is their men do. I don't think it's good. And I would not encourage women to aspire along those lines, because it will be very, very destructive of the kind of decency that the woman is entitled to by virtue of her birth, her nature, her anatomy, everything. How would you feel if you saw a woman climbing a palm tree? That's odious. So the way we are doing it here, I think is beautiful. There are lines she must not exceed. The woman it is the woman that makes a home, not the man. Let us not look toward the whites as people who live exemplary lives too. In terms of marital stability, in terms of the meaning of marital unions, I think marriage means more to us as Africans than to the whites. I mean, the sacrosanctity of marriage means little or nothing to the white man. And I'll tell you why. In our own case, before you get married to a girl, a lot of questions are asked. What kind of family is she from? Is he from? Do they enjoy longevity? Are they stigmatized? There's so many questions, after which the two families now get together and agree that their children can be husband and wife. It's not the same thing overseas, no. A white man meets a girl in a bus, he begins to kiss her. By the time they get to the next station, they are married. By the time they get to their destination, they are divorced. I mean, come on, that's not our own life, you know. But some of our women feel that's the best. I don't blame them. Women mostly are hair-brained, pea-brained, so they want to do all sorts of things, you know, so that question marks can follow them wherever they go. That's not very good, you know. So I think I like the way we pursue marriage in our culture, in our tradition. It makes for marital longevity. It is not the same for the white people. So we shall not try to copy them, no. If you're getting married here, most of those who will attend your marriage are the people you know, relations of yours and all that. It is not the same overseas. You contract your wife, you go to get married. A lot of people are imported to come and stand around there as witnesses. You don't know who they are. At the end of the day, they are paid and they go back home. They're not involved with you in any way, no. You have an incredible audience. They're all well decked out and everybody's smiling and waving and all that. They don't even know who is marrying. They get paid and they go away. Just like when people die, you go and rent people to come and cry while you're doing what you like. And you know, it's not our culture. We shouldn't aspire to that. I mean, that's making ourselves animals, and that's not good. I had a professor once say that a woman getting married to another woman is gynogamy. I never bothered to look for it in the Webster dictionary. I just said, coming from a prof, I know what it means or what it should mean. It's entrenched in our culture, and there's a reason for it. Sometimes a child is born and he is named Afamefuna. What it simply means is that that child, being a man, will perpetuate that lineage, Afamefuna. Now, if you have a family where there is no man to continue the family, and all the women are married out, a woman is contrived to stay back, and another woman is acquired for her as her wife. She is now free to make babies with any man she likes. She's protected, she's covered, it's legitimate. There's nothing wrong with that. So we still have it in our culture up till tomorrow. It has nothing to do with lesbianism. No, because you're looking for children. Lesbians don't make babies, no. You want to ensure that that family line is not closed completely. So you perpetuate it by ensuring that there are kids in the family. It happens all the time, and I think I like it, you know. You see, somehow, people feel that adopting children is totally un-African, you know, and because of that, rather than go to adopt, they marry a girl and give her the freedom to choose any man she likes to make babies with her. And I think it's good. Yeah. I wonder whether I will agree with the word stigma. You know, the only thing is that if you adopt a child, because we live in some close-knit community, everybody gets to know that the kid is not yours, so that whenever you talk about your son as being established, people who know that you adopted them will simply, hey, our son, hey, our son. And that's all. I mean, for the white man, it does not mean anything. For us, it's totally alien. It's strange. It's not our culture, because it is believed that every woman should be able to produce a kid, right? Well, people are beginning to adopt now, thanks to education. Can adopt a child, train that child, he bears your name. Whatever he turns out to be, that's your luck. So it's good, but it's un-African. You see, our culture is a very strong one. We believe that every child born is a legitimate product. He has a right to exist as a human being because he is not responsible for his own creation, for his birth. Therefore, he must be allowed to live like every other child. Now, in Igbo land, if a woman gets pregnant while in her father's house, arrangement is made to ensure that she gets married off before she gives birth to that child. It affects her bride price, no doubt about it. But in order to ensure that any child that is born is not referred to as a bastard, that system was introduced. So in Igbo land, there is nobody you can refer to as a bastard. No. That is the reason. It's not the same overseas, yeah. So you see, a girl is in her father's house, get involved amorously with somebody, and in the process gets pregnant. We are not used to terminating pregnancies, no. Give birth to that child. He must be raised by somebody. But we'll make sure that we don't create circumstances that will conduce to contesting his paternity permanently. So you get somebody to marry that lady before that child is born. And it's, I think it's a fine system. I like it. If a girl is not married and gets a child in her father's house, the child answers the father's name, no matter who impregnated her. Yeah. Again, if you are in love with a man and he impregnates you without paying your bride price, the child belongs to your father. That's our culture. I don't know what the law says about it, but the child belongs to your father. Except, of course, you pay the bride price and all the traditional demands of marriage. The child is not yours. Whether it's just a child, 2, 3, they don't belong to you. We don't encourage marriage breakups in our culture. We don't. When a woman is incorrigibly unfaithful, it becomes necessary to expel her from that family. So she can go out and experiment with sexual vagrancy. That's her business. But when the situation is such that it is established that this woman maybe congenitally has a restless libido, she has to be moved out. She has to be divorced, you know. And in a situation like that, the parents of the woman will invite the man, come and take back your bride price. For most people, they really are not interested. They just want to go marry somebody else and settle down. They don't want to. Our people don't actually enjoy divorces. No, they don't. So in most cases, you ask a man, come take your bride price, he's not interested. He just wants to go take another woman and make babies. And it's just that when he is being subjected to the odium, the tedium, the stress, the strain of moving around and trying to sunder that marital relationship. He doesn't want to be part of it. Just keep the money. Let me take somebody else. That's all. Yeah. So that that woman can always visit and say, how do you do, and walk past. And that's all. Any man who shies away from the responsibility of raising his child is an irresponsible person. He's unfit to be a father. Yes. I mean, there is no way you can excuse that. No. If you don't want to raise a kid because you believe that kid does not belong to you, a DNA test can prove that or disprove it. Yeah. But to see a child that has been born for you and generally accepted as your own child, and you say you don't want to raise that child, something is wrong with you. That it's not a normal situation at all. No, and it's difficult to find a situation where a man deliberately avoids raising his child. That's irresponsibility. Yeah. You know, if God gives you a child, you owe that child an obligation to raise it. Then that's your paternal responsibility. Shying away from it is like I said, it's very undignified. It's irresponsible. I mean, there is no way you can excuse it. It doesn't make sense. No. Women are beginning to do all sorts of things these days because they are aping the white people. For example, a woman gets married. She wants to incorporate her own maiden name, family name, into that marital union. If her maiden name is Okafor, she is Juliana Okafor, Nebedum, or whatever. I don't think it's very good. You know, you are married and you're married. You drop your father's name and you assume the name of your husband. That means you're married. Going to retain your father's name even in your marital home. For me, again, I don't think I can excuse that. It does not make sense, you know. And now for a woman to say, okay, I am going back to my father's name because my husband will not take care of the child. Again, I don't think it makes sense. If you're married, you're married. There are so many challenges one must experience in marriage, right? You don't shy away from those challenges, no. You brace yourself and face up to those challenges. That's what makes you a mature person. If the father refuses to train the child, do your best for that child. Along the line, you'll probably experience a change of heart and decide to go back and accept his responsibility. So I believe that we shouldn't rush into changing our names when we get to a situation like that. There is something I saw trending now. If you invite a girl on a date, do you give her taxi money and all that? You see, a lot of our youngsters, I mean, they're pea-brained. The way we were raised, in our culture, for you to get married to a girl, you must prove to the family that you can take care of that child, of that girl. This is why you find out that in those days, before you go and pick up your wife, you tell your people, I am going to work for my wife's family. So they know I am strong enough to take care of her if eventually I get married to her. In our culture, it is believed that the man has to do everything. If your wife decides to help out, she is helping out. But ordinarily, it's your responsibility to ensure that she stands out as a woman. All her needs must be catered for by you. You see, so it's a long-established custom. These days, you know, families disagree because they think there must be contributions from both sides, all right? We want to cook, okay. You buy meat, let me buy. And I don't think that makes for a good relationship. I've been married for the past 53 years, and I've never asked my wife whether she earns a kobo or not. No. I pick up the tabs, the bills, and I'm happy about it. I mean, I raise my children, do everything I want to do for them. I'm not going to say because my wife did not give me money or contribute to do this. No. If she does, she is being magnanimous. I must appreciate it. But I'm not going to say, no, this must be a law I'm going to establish. She must bring this and I bring that. Otherwise, no. That's nonsense, you know. Young men these days get married and they think because their wives work, they must be making their own contributions. It is only if the woman decides to. You don't compel her to. No. You see, one thing that's very funny about the law, if a woman takes money from your pocket and she's your wife, the law feels that she's entitled to it. But if you take her own money, you are stealing. It's cruel, you know. I mean, this is why overseas, if you have a little disagreement with your wife, you are kicked out of the house. Not only are you kicked out of the house, you will still be paying the bill. You will be paying for every single thing, alimony and all that. But you're living outside. Anytime you want to go and see your family, you are accompanied by policemen and all that sort of. There is no such nonsense in our culture. No. There's no such nonsense. I mean, two people accept to be husband and wife and they raise their kids. You know, if your son does something wrong, you flog him. Yeah, God gave me a lot of sons. I flogged all of them. God gave my father sons. He dealt with us. I think it's in Ecclesiastes that he said, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child, you know. So I believe that we shouldn't try to ape the whites. No. You raise your child the way God has said you must raise that child, not the way your family, your wife determines. No. If you invite a girl out for a date, you take responsibility for everything she eats and does. In other words, from the moment she gets into a cab to come and find you, you start taking from that moment the responsibility, beginning with her transport to and fro. If you argue that a girl comes out on a date, at the end of it, or ask her to go, you are a very responsible person. Right? I mean, you don't even qualify to be a man in the first place. Yeah, because you invite a girl out, she compromises her virtues, her honor, her pride. At the end of it all, you probably kick her out and you get into your car and you drive off. What kind of man are you? If you've been doing that in the past, go and apologize to all the girls you've done that to, because for me, you don't even qualify to be a man at all. No. You see, it is true that most of the time women misbehave, but it's something that will be identified with their sex. That is not, you see, for a girl to be pregnant for 9 months, it's a very challenging task. Let's be honest. It's true that God gave it to them, but it's very challenging. Most of the time, the women don't come out alive, right? Now they do. Please, they deserve some respect. They deserve some honor. They deserve some affection. Treat that person with plenty of love. It's her entitlement. So if you have a girlfriend and you exploit her to the point where you can't even give her transport fare, don't stand in front of me and say you can pass for a man, because I'll condemn you outright. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense. So let's stop all that stuff, you know, I see on Instagram and the rest of them. It doesn't make sense, you know. Most men will look for the slightest opportunity to exploit a woman. That is not very good. No, it's not. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, If you don't have the wherewithal to sustain a relationship, break it. If you can't get a woman into your house as your wife and cater to all her needs, don't get into it, right? You're not inviting her in as a marital luggage. No, she's your wife. Marital baggage. Take responsibility. You know, sometimes people say that I'm a chauvinist. I don't mind the name that I'm being called, but I'll tell you, sometimes most of our men don't treat our women properly. They don't. You know, it is the prerogative of the woman to misbehave. Bear that in mind. It's her congenital entitlement. If you go to the Bible, it says, what God has put together, let no man put us under. He didn't say let no woman. And I wasn't talking about man in the generic sense, sexually, you know. Let's go to the creation if you believe in the Bible. It was a woman who picked up the apple from the devil, right? God saw that woman take the apple from the devil. God didn't say anything, no. Because he expected the woman to do that anyway. He didn't say anything. But the moment that apple was given to the man, he just had a small bite. To swallow it, God caught him. Adam, or Guinea, you know. So you have to bear that in mind. The woman saw the devil and survived. There is no man who can see the devil and survive. You see, women were created special. Remember, a man came first, from dust. Then a woman came. The woman didn't come from dust, no. It's from the rib of the man. So whatever it is she does, she wasn't created from the dust of the earth, but from the rib of the man. So we must bear that in mind at all times. I don't endorse beating up women and treating them so badly. If you can cope with a woman, you can run a country. I tell you that. A woman is a university from where you never graduate. You just keep learning, keep learning. If you understand a woman, your life is going to be fantastic. If you're not disposed to tolerating them, you can't have a wonderful life, you know. So let's learn to show some respect to women. I think they deserve it. The women too, on their own part, should not endlessly exploit their prerogative of being silly, because it's their prerogative. It's not every man who is constituted to sustain all that. You know, some people are quick-tempered. People like us, we take all sorts of things because of maturity. Not every man can. So please, give our women some respect. They're entitled to it, right? They have their weaknesses. They have their faults, plenty of them. We too have ours, right? But please, the woman was created as a helper to support you, not to determine for you or to dictate to you. Bear that in mind. So if you tell her, I don't want this, let her not do it. But you see, women get corrupted by other women, and that's where the problem is. But let's do our best to ensure that we treat them fairly, and let the Almighty be the judge. If you invite a girl out for a date, right, you take responsibility for whatever she does, from transportation to her alimentary preferences, anything, you know. Even if she decides to experiment with some of her sartorial preferences, you have to make sure you pay for that, you know, alimentary idiosyncrasies. Yeah, pay for that, right? Because you invited her. She did not on her own decide to pay you a visit, right? If you go to look for a house, whatever the landlord says, his terms, if you can't obey the terms, you don't move in. It's the same thing. If you're inviting a girl over, whatever her demands are, go ahead and take care of them, right? because you invited her over. There are no two ways to it. Let's treat them with some little respect. I think it's their entitlement. I mean, if you can't afford it, why invite her? You see, nothing goes for nothing. If you want to go and buy a vehicle, you get out into the market. There are so many classes of cars. You can buy a small salon if you can afford that, or you go for a big Jeep. It depends on the money you have. But you don't have money for a small car and you keep ogling at Jeeps all over the place. It means that you're crazy, you know. It is the same thing with women, right? You see a pretty girl, very richly endowed physically. You want to subdue her. That's your design. And you invite her over. Pay for all the expenses. That means that you're prepared. Don't invite her over and then you begin to gnash your teeth. It means you're a buffoon. As a matter of fact, women are not cut out to take responsibility of men. No. If your situation is such that your wife takes care of you, you are in hell. There are no two ways to it. You are in hell. Yes, because if a woman takes care of you, she will subject you to all forms of indignity, which you are not congenitally cut out to sustain. So you try as much as possible to be able to take care of your family, take care of your woman. If, however, some kind of conspirative circumstances reverse the situation such that it now becomes the responsibility of the woman to run the home. If you can gain access to a run-out powder, take it and go home. Yeah, because, like I said, the woman will prove to you that you're not worth much, no matter how much you try. No. Ask anybody who is a man in the real sense of the word. For a woman to run your life for you, in other words, you run the home while she goes to win the bread. Hi. Consult with the Almighty, tell me it's time to go home. Yeah, it's time to go home. It is one of the worst situations you can find yourself on earth, where a woman begins to take care of you. Don't pray for it at all. Don't. Not a good thing. It's terrible. It's traumatic. That is when you realize that every woman is a potential tyrant. You get messed up. Hey, that things changed, and your wife now decided to take care of the family. Every single penny she spends on you, she will amplify it and make the world know that you are so parasitically dependent on her that you're such a leech. Hey! May the good Lord forbid. No, but if I book character M.O.N, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. If a woman gives you a penny, you are in hell. Every movement you make, she must remind you that she just gave you. I mean, it's like that, you know. It's like that, you know. Even if, all right, you are running your home. Your wife's relation comes to the house, and you give him or her 50,000. Your own relation comes, and you give him or her 5,000. When your wife wants to talk about it, she will insist that your relations are eating up all the money in the house. She will not mention that you just gave your relation 5,000 and her own relation of 50,000. Women don't do it. They will always tell you that it's your own relation who is eating up all the money. She will not mention what you do for her own family. It is in their nature. Don't kill them for that, because it's in their nature, right? If you don't know that, you don't know anything. Quote me, and you don't know anything, you know. You buy a car for your wife, fine. You will fuel the car, engage a driver, you pay the driver, you service the car. If there's an accident outside, she calls you on phone, gets into a cab, you go and collect the car, you pay for it, you tow the car, you pay for it. You keep paying, you keep paying. The moment you marry, it doesn't mean you should not marry. Marry. Please marry. Just make sure that the moment you marry, you've consciously acquired perpetual liability. There is nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing, right? I think the good Lord made it that way because this 9-month ordeal of pregnancy, I think for that alone, whatever women do, we can forgive them. I'm telling you. If you find yourself in a labor room and see what women go through at childbirth, it will be difficult for you to raise your hand and strike a woman. Yeah, even though they will continuously annoy you, right? But still, allow them. That's what they are created to do. If you can tolerate the foibles of a woman, all their faggot-minded creations, you can run a whole country, I can tell you that. But if you you cannot tolerate the excesses of women, then you can't run a country. Like I said earlier, a woman is a university from where you never graduate. Quote me. I'm waiting. People talk about women as bosses. Women, for me, don't make good bosses. Number one, women don't like to spend money. I worked under a woman as a boss, as my MD, and she wanted all of us to squeeze ourselves into one vehicle as management staff, as directors. And I said, Madam, I don't think I'll take this any longer. No. I have worked in the civil service. I have become a director. I am entitled to a vehicle. Every director is. This idea of squeezing all of us into one van, if something happens to you, it happens to all of us. No. Every director must have a vehicle. That was how we all got vehicles. Women as bosses, they don't spend money, right? You see a lot of things that require attention, financial attention, urgent financial attention. No. They always want to get something where it's cheapest. For me, women don't make good bosses. No, they don't. They don't at all. And they'll tell you that men don't want to take others from them because they are the bosses, and no, it is not. Women were not cut out to be bosses. They were not. No, they were not. I have visited a few places where women are bosses, and the way they talk to the staff, just for you to know that they are in charge. You don't have to humiliate a man to drive home the point that you are the boss. It's not necessary. Talk to somebody with plenty of decency, plenty of respect. Could you give me this place? Can I do this work? That is how we were raised, right? I was raised mainly by white people, I tell you the truth. In my school, most of our lecturers were white people, yeah, reverend fathers. So we learned a lot from them, right? My father too was raised by reverend fathers, and we learned a lot from my father. A lot of people have asked me to convert to a producer that have excelled as an actor. Why don't you try production? I don't believe in such experiments. What is my legacy for posterity as an actor? In 1803, 75 Igbos were drowned in a collective suicide at Dunbar County in Georgia, United States. It is recorded in history. A lot of people have tried to tell that story. They have not succeeded. The late Professor Acholonu Catherine brought some African Americans to my place about, I think, 15 years ago, and they introduced me to this story. Something struck me. Those people who drowned themselves rather than be made slaves were singing one song as they were going into the sea. Omabala brought us here. Omabala will take us back home. That was when I knew that those young people who were drowned were from my place. We are the Omabala people. And I decided to do some research into that story. A lot of people have tried, white men, they have not succeeded. South Africans have written songs. Beyonce has also written a song. A lot of them have tried. They don't have the story. I have the story. If I don't shoot that story before I go to join my ancestors, it will be a permanent source of regret for me. Why? Because it is our story. They have written songs I have listened to. Before I'm buried in my grave, I'll not be a slave and all that other stuff. That is not what our people were saying. No. You'll be surprised if I say, Omambala, ngibu anyị bịa, ngigebu anyị wena, Omambala. That is our song. That is the song. There's no other group that had that story. None. I have the story. And I wrote it as a collaborative venture between us and our transatlantic counterparts. I have started the move, but there is no way I can complete it on my own. So if you're listening to me and you think you can contribute towards realizing that dream, you are welcome. One thing I can tell you is this. Whenever that film is produced, it will win an Oscar. I am not simply saying it because I want to flatter my efforts. No. At 75, I don't tell tales out of school. For those who are saying, turn into a producer, do this, open a school, this is history. I want to ensure that we are all part of this history. If we can put this on celluloid for the international audience, most of our brothers in the United States who are being treated shabbily will come to realize that there was no conspiracy on the part of our forefathers to sell them off. There was none. No. Fair enough, there was something like slave trade, but in this case, our brothers were deceived and they all rushed into the slave ship. The people who documented this have not been able to tell us why those people who got into that slave ship were able to kill some of the slave raiders. No. Only the Igbo slaves, the Igbo captives who succeeded in doing that, and they allowed 2 of them to remain until they got to Georgia. And when they got there, they found that the situation that was painted for them, that lured them into the ships, did not exist. They went back and they killed the other 2 white men. That is the history. I am not telling you tales out of school. I am talking about what is referred to in history as the Igbo landing. Igbo landing. Google it, and you'll get to see what I'm telling you. 75 Igbo people, rather than be sold into parasitic bondage, they said no. Let's keep our honor. Like Henry V said, before he went to the Battle of Agincourt, he said, if it be a crime to value honor, then I am the most offending slave alive. That's Henry V. For my people, we always batter life for renown. That's my ambition now. And for those of you who are listening, I know that some of you command plenty of influence. If you can be part of it, we shall all be part of history. There was something that the Reverend Jesse Jackson said once when he wanted to run for the presidency of America. He said, while our opponents are making hysteria, we are making history. I want us to make history together, not hysteria. Nollywood, we are doing marvelously well. There's one problem we have always had, and that problem has continued. What is the problem? Audio. Audio is the biggest problem we have in Nollywood. You sit down to watch a movie, you keep fiddling with your remote. It's terrible. Those of you who are doing these recordings, why don't you listen to what you are recording? So that when we are watching, you don't put in all this effort. If the audio is gone, then the entire film is gone. I sit down to watch our efforts. Our young girls are doing very well. Our young men are doing marvelously well. Look, we are being recognized internationally, but we haven't improved on our audio. Again, when I think about censorship, I don't quite know the rules that they apply, but I don't think the census segment is helping our productions. Somebody says, why did you slap him? He called me a... What did he call you? That one is removed. It's okay, we are running away from 4-letter words, fine. That does not mean that every other word must be thrown out. He called me a harlot. What is wrong? Listen, the reason why you slapped him is because he called you a harlot. Why do you pluck out harlot? So that nobody now knows why he slapped you or why she slapped you. Because he called me a... It is removed. And when people mention the word God, it is removed. We are beginning to champion apostasy. That is not good. No. Whether we like it or not, we must make constant reference to the Almighty God because He created us. I don't blame them. They've kept quiet for long. The way we censure our films, sometimes we eliminate the substance of the entire production because we want to humor. I really don't understand. I don't, he called me a fool. You pluck out the word fool. Then what did he call you? When we are thinking about 4-letter words, the word fool is not a 4-letter word, even though it is a 4-letter word, but there's nothing immoral in it, right? It's when we begin to talk about fuck and shit and hey, these are the 4-letter words we want to avoid. Food, F-O-O-D, that's what you eat. It's a 4-letter word. Is there anything wrong with that? Two things, and again, the speed with which we forgive criminals in our films, that's not normal, that's not natural. Somebody kills your mother, kills your father, kills your relations. At the end of the day, he is found out. He gets down on his knees and said, it's the devil. You embrace him. That's madness. Nobody forgives people with such speed, not even the Almighty. No. You don't forgive people with such speed. Come on. A crime is a crime. For you to forgive that kind of person, no, come on. It takes, no. But you see, the speed with which we forgive in our films. And again, it's all right, our generation is dying out, but some of us are still alive. I remember when we were growing up and watching cowboy films, we were seeing them rolling tobacco and smoking. A lot of us thought they were smoking hemp, and we delved into it, and it destroyed us. Yes, a lot of my friends were destroyed by hemp because what we watch in the films, watching cowboy films featuring people like John Wayne, Dean Martin, Robert Mitchum, Alan Ladd, we saw them rolling tobacco and we thought they were rolling hemp, and we all plunged into it. And I wasn't part of it, by the way. So when I say we, let me not say implicate, I never tried it, no. My friends who thought, I smoked cigarettes, make no mistake about it. And my friends who thought that they would float on the same level as those actors in Hollywood decided to experiment, and they wound up in very bad woods, not Hollywood. So we'll try as much as possible as we can to improve our stories so that our plots can be sustaining. Most of our plots are very predictable. That's not very good, And we have too many women in our production these days, and they're all screaming at the top of their voices, I'm beginning to see what I never saw before. Today, in most of our films, women slap men. It's not part of our culture. I don't know where they picked it up from. I know that white people always slap their men. It's not our culture. Let's not introduce it into Nollywood. It's most unbecoming of us to tolerate that kind of deviation from our normal life. Women don't slap men, no. But generally, because we proliferate in movies these days, most of them don't make much sense. But there are some that are very good, that qualify for the international market, and because of the amount of money invested in the production and the characters that we are featured. If you use grade A actors, your films will sell. If you pick up people along the highway and squeeze them into the movies, that's not how I was discovered. It doesn't work that way. But on the whole, we are doing our best, and let us continue. For those of you who feel that you can become stars overnight, it doesn't work that way. And our media are helping to sometimes destroy a lot of actors. You begin to splash blandishments of these characters. You're making them incorrigible thespians. Whatever they do is perfect. They were couched in that mold congenitally. It's not the way it is. Patience, diligence, and of course, read so that you people can speak English properly. I have not come to banter words with you. That is not good English. You don't say you come to banter words. Bandy words. There are such expressions too. The word spread has no past tense. Spread. It was spread. It was not spreaded. Let's try and polish up our language. It's the only medium of communication that we have, and if we don't attain some degree of mastery in it, our communication will be very poor. We're not putting across the message. Generally, I think we are doing well. I'll say so. We're doing well, but we can improve. Audio. I've just been told that a lot of young people admire me a lot. They see me as a role model. Well, you may not know that I'm a shy person, but I am. When I am told that I'm being admired by a lot of people, I don't know how to respond to it. I thank all of you. Whenever I portray myself in a manner you think is unbecoming of my status, don't hesitate to let me know. I don't move around a lot, there's no doubt about it. So the possibility of catching me in social circles trying to drink myself into stupor, totally eliminated, it's not there. But again, like I said, even if you see me in a movie, if there is something I said you thought was unbecoming, well, let me know. So I don't operate any illusion of grandeur. When anything such thing happens, you stop learning. I thank all of you, and well, what else can I say? Thank you for thinking that my efforts are worth it. And may the good Lord keep all of you. Thank you very much.